fanatics, welcome to episode 200 of the Bulletproof Podcast. I am your host, Chris the Brain, and you know who's here with me. I've got the Toyman, Chris DePetrillo.
I mean, it's a regular occurrence that I'm here on the Bulletproof Podcast, but it's a special occasion, so there's no way I could miss this one.
No way at all. And also, you know who as well. It's Ryan Campbell.
I'm here in my Sunday best. I've got a nice glass of champagne. I'm celebrating 200.
Oh, my word. You really are getting into it. You know, the other day at 4:30 in the morning, as I've been having a lot of 4:30 in the mornings as of late, but I had this is episode 200. I probably, if I was thinking correctly, should have reached out to former guests and, friends of the thing to do a little message, happy 200 episode, that type of crap. And, I'm sure our friend Chad Michael Collins would have gladly done it. But I didn't think of it until it was too late. But speaking of CMC, Toyman, last week you dropped it. It was the Sniper No Nation review. What a film. I talked about Mexicali being in the top 5. No doubt about it. As of right now, you can add Sniper No Nation to my top 5 action movies of the year as well.
Yeah, this one, it's no secret that I am a fan of the Sniper franchise, and I've been really impressed with the last few films. I think that the series was evolving into more of that G.I. Joe take on a special mission type of format, a little bit of that buddy cop banter with Chad Michael Collins as Brandon Beckett and his partner Zero, played by Ryan Robbins in the film. And this one really upped the ante and brought the tension back. It was cool to see Tom Berenger coming in, the OG in the film. Obviously, if people are unfamiliar, he is Thomas Beckett from the 1993 film, the father of the character Brandon Beckett, played by our friend Chad Michael Collins. And, we got a lot of action, a lot of tension, and several twists.
Mm-hmm.
One, I feel like you could see it coming, but that third act, man, that was completely very unexpected in a very good way. And I think there are good things in store for the future of the Sniper series.
Yeah, like I told you, I mean, if they just kept making these fun little one-off Sniper movies for the rest of time, great. But now it's it's becoming an epic. And, one leads into the next, this is good storytelling, and I'm here for it. Also, last week, The Boys returned for its final season, and you covered the first 2 episodes of that.
Yeah, a double whammy of No Surrender Cinema last week. The Boys is back. I was a fan of the comic when it first came out, read it all the way through. The series, I am enjoying the series. I've had a lot of fun with it. I think that they have done a good job with staying true to the concept of the story without just copying everything page for page from the comics. As I mentioned in the review, in some cases, that's probably a very good thing. But I can see why they've decided to wind it down now. I feel like there's only so much shock humor and ultra violence you can throw at people without it losing its meaning. So, I am sad to see it go. I've enjoyed it. I think Carl Urban has been excellent as Billy Butcher. But the first 2 episodes, I think that it's going to be the least of our worries. I think there's more in store for the duration of the season.
I did have a question for you that I've been meaning to ask, but I never did. And I'm going to ask you right now, and I hope I don't regret it. Gen V came and went many times. And for why did we never get a No Surrender Cinema Gen V?
I was watching Gen V and I kind of lost sight of it, and then I went back to it. So I kind of lost it for a little while. It wasn't regularly on my radar. It started to be, and then life just got in the way and it kind of fell by the wayside. So I don't know. At this point, would it be worth doing a retrospective of it so soon?
I just was always you were always right on The Boys, and I'm like, okay.
Whoa.
Gen V.
You might want let's rephrase. Let's rewind and rephrase that one, Brain.
I said exactly what I said. You were right on The Boys. I said what I said. And if these people don't fucking know what I'm talking about at this point on 200 episodes in, they can. Never mind. But yeah, you were on top of The Boys. Is that better? Is that what I said before? You were all up in The Boys.
I was on
You were
top
making
of Old
you were
Smoky.
making the boys your bitch.
Yeah. No, but yeah, the boys would come on and, it's like, hours
Apparently, this is
later,
200 ways to insult Toyman tonight. Happy
Hours-
anniversary to me.
hours later, there would be a review of however many episodes they dropped that first day. Gen V, I'm like, okay, well, maybe he didn't get to it right away. Maybe he'll just do a recap at the end of the season. No, you just were like, fuck you, Gen V.
And I've enjoyed Gen V, so I'm not against it. I'm not avoiding it.
I'm glad it was that. I was fearing you'd have some kind of I don't know. I don't even know. I was just scared of your answer, but it makes sense, I suppose. So yeah, read the 2. It was a double feature of No Surrender Cinema last week, and now Toyman will just loaf around until May. So
no, maybe I'll do a review of, I don't know, Police Academy, the animated series or something.
Oh, Jesus, help! Just work on your May post. Speaking of TV shows like The Boys, Ryan Campbell's doing 18 TV shows.
I am very busy right now. It'll get a little bit lighter here soon, though, as Invincible, as you are listening to I guess maybe not as you're listening to this, depending on when you listen to it, but the day after this drops will be the penultimate episode, Brain, of Invincible.
I better talk to our host to make sure we're ready for the traffic.
Make sure the servers are ready for that one. But it's been a fantastic season, and it's really picking up steam here as we head towards the finish line. So that's good. And just starting is Maul's Shadow Lord, which got rave reviews online for the 2-episode premiere of that last week. And then we're continuing with that. And we'll be wrapping up Monarch. I've gone this far. Might as well finish the damn thing. But we will be wrapping up that. And then we'll be switching gears and getting ready for summer blockbuster season.
I swear to God, we are still on episode 3 of Monarch. It just never ends. I feel like, are we almost done with it? No, it never ends. But I'm glad you're enjoying it. And you know what? Any episode could be the one that blows up. But that's all happening. Also, I just recently reviewed Teamer, which is the directorial debut of Iko Uwais. And you can check that out. And
I might also have a little sneaky Netflix stealth drop tomorrow, so it'll be up if you're listening to this. It should be up by now.
Yeah,
but a little sneaky Netflix movie. Every once in a while, you're just scrolling the old Facebook machine, and you're like, "Oh, okay, this comes out tomorrow. Yeah. I guess that might be worth watching." There's
also a Moosey movie coming out that I may or may not have reviewed it by the time this. It really will depend. I don't know.
You got to keep your head on a swivel nowadays, man. Shit just comes from all over.
I know. All this week or the last week. It doesn't matter.
They all hate Jackie Chan.
Poor Jackie.
Yeah, Jackie Chan A to Z. I mean, nobody read that anyway, so maybe everything worked out the way it was supposed to work out.
People didn't get wacky for Jackie.
No, they sure didn't.
The podcast did pretty good on the old YouTube machine.
There you go. So there's good news. There's good news if you're looking for it. There's bad news of whether you're looking for it or not. But
and also, I remiss to plug on. Speaking of the YouTube machine and Chad Michael Collins and Sniper, we do have the interview up with Chad Michael Collins still up on the YouTube page.
That one's cracked 100 views.
It has. Go check that out.
I do want to, before we get into our topic this evening, I want to talk about our recent Scream 7 winners. Congratulations, Melissa, Fred, Adrian, Steven, and Emilio. You have won your Scream 7 digital codes. I hopefully you've watched it. Hopefully you've enjoyed it.
Was that our most entered sweepstakes yet? I think it
absolutely was. There were a ton of entries for that one. If you've been paying attention, if you listened to our show last week, or if you've been to bulletproofaction.com to see all the things we've been talking about, you may have also noticed we're giving away Blu-ray copies of Mercy. And as this drops, there's still one more day left for you to enter if you have not already. I will be drawing those winners on April 15th and reaching out to all of you who win for your address information, and I'll have those out by the end of the week as long as I've heard from you. So there's that. Again, and I got a word. 2 more contests coming.
Man.
2 more contests.
Cool.
So there we go. All right. Let's get into it. It is episode 200. It was weeks ago that I committed that we would be doing something special for episode 200. Some of our most popular podcast episodes have been Death Wish related. So let's go all the way back to the beginning. July 24, 1974, when Death Wish, starring Charles Bronson, was released. If I had a time machine, I would want to go and sit in the audience of these, especially in like New York, where they said the people were literally cheering in the theater, getting up just because they obviously crime was, this is a real issue. This movie is a very serious take on the issue. As we go on, things get a little bit more out of control and more fun. Let's be honest. But, crime in these big cities, Ryan Campbell, was a true concern in the 70s. And this movie addresses that and then some.
It absolutely was. I mean, it was pretty much then what people act like it is now. Like, there's people are always like afraid to go into cities. Here in Cincinnati, it's become a thing. But a lot of times it's people kind of fudging the numbers or making things seem a lot like to try to like politically. Of course, social media, every little thing that happens, it gets blown up and it kind of gives the impression that this is happening on every street corner. Yeah. But when you look at statistics, this all peaked in the 70s and we've pretty much come down. Violent crimes, serial killers, like a lot of that's come down since the 70s. So, I mean, no hyperbole. It was pretty bad around this time that the movie set.
Yeah. Directed by Michael Winner, who was a frequent Bronson collaborator, also did The Mechanic, Chato's Land, The Stone Killer, and the first two sequels, Death Wish 2 and the most amazing film ever made, Death Wish 3. Toyman.
Sir.
This movie starts off in beautiful Hawaii.
Yeah, very different from crime-filled, disgusting, gritty New York. We're getting to see that Paul Kersey is a laid-back, devoted family man. He is not yet what he has come to be known as, the vigilante that he is. I don't know why I'm tripping over my words right now, what I'm looking for. He has not yet found multiple ways of utilizing excessive force. He is just a laid-back dude enjoying some time away with his wife.
Yeah, there's no reason for him to do that. He's living a pretty good life. He's an architect. He's got a beautiful wife. He wants to bang her on the beach, Ryan Campbell.
Yeah, they even call him like a quote unquote bleeding heart liberal when it comes to like plight of people in the city. And apparently people that have gone to, I would imagine, a decent amount of college to become, high-end architects.
Yeah.
Never learned how to pronounce Maui. They act like it's some like foreign land. Maui, Mawa, whatever you call it.
That's good old Sam, who when Paul gets back to the office after his beautiful vacation, Sam is there to share the latest crime rate statistics. And thanks, Sam. He's, I think we all have one of those friends who's just really always glued to the news and is there to.
If Facebook was a thing back then, Sam's page.
Sam would be sharing every horrible story there was. We also meet
Killjoy.
Killjoy indeed, and not the clown, right, Toyman?
No, not the clown. Although I do have that DVD somewhere in the collection.
God help me.
He's got a Killjoy poster up behind him.
I actually got that DVD from Figures Toy Company because years ago we had a distributor that we got movies from and we had a lot of full moon stuff. So I have quite a few of the low budget B movie types. I even got the original Puppet Master collection, all thanks to my role as an employee, longtime employee at Figures Toy Company.
I have a Kmart bought collection. It has all kinds of Puppet Masters and I think it has 2 Killjoys on it.
Is it like one of those 8 movie packs?
At least it might be a 52 movie pack for all I remember, but yeah, there's a lot on there, including 2 Killjoys. So yeah, we hear for the first time about this Jainchill project out in Tucson, and then Sam goes on about needing more cops than people, and he's really wrapped up with these crime statistics. But meanwhile, while Paul's back to work, Joanna and her daughter Carol are at the grocery store. But they're not there alone. We've got 3 punks there. One is Jeff Goldblum, who played Freak number 1. Freak number 2 was played by Billy Corgan's dad. And then
a little bit of a trivia there.
It's not really him.
Or Toby Savalas' son.
Right. It's some bald person, not named Toyman.
It's not me. I didn't
Or
enter Earth
Moby.
until 6 years later.
Or Moby.
Yeah.
It might be Moby. He's old.
Yeah, shout out to our buddy Matt for mentioning the Moby reference.
He did. He told me that who was it? Was it Natalie Portman? That Moby was trying to get with her when she was going to school at Harvard, and he was old then.
I mean, you got to shoot your shot.
Was she on the south
Natalie
side?
Portman.
Southie? I don't know. Well, anyway, yeah, that's what Matt did share that information. Anyway, Spray Can is the other guy, and he's named that because he has a spray can.
There's a long, prestigious alumni of Goons and Death Wish movies that go on to be other things.
This is the first one.
Yeah.
Jeff Goldblum. Old Larry Fishburne.
This is even pre-Buckaroo Banzai.
Very much so. Very, very much so, yeah. So yeah, they're there. I would like to point out that the cashier that the freaks go to, she was banging Michael Winner at the time, so that's how she got the gig.
This is what you get from doing a movie like this that is in Brain's like pantheon of greats.
Oh yeah,
this info.
This one's one I've watched many times and I've listened to commentaries on and have read books about. Yeah, this one I'm much more qualified to speak on than a lot of the things we talk about on this program. But yeah, the punks get the Kersey address off the grocery delivery slip, and then they proceed to follow the ladies home.
Yeah, they're pretty casual with that information, given how apparently everyone's aware of how bad crime is. You think they'd, like they're not like, it's not like a small town neighborhood where everyone knows each other, right, and like they don't care and everyone leaves their doors unlocked. Like it's well established there's a crime spree and an issue going on, and they just like casually leave people's addresses sitting out.
Well, yeah. And it gets worse because as bad luck would have it, because this is a fancy upscale apartment. There's a doorman who has to buzz you, up to wherever you're going. However, there's someone moving in. So that rear entrance is just wide open. And these punks, it's just perfect timing for them. So they slip right in and go up the back stairwell, spray can, graffitiing up the place. Meanwhile, inside, Joanna and Carol have made it back to the apartment. They're just having some mother-daughter time, looking at some of the souvenirs that Joanna picked up while in Hawaii. There's a knock on the door. Nothing to be alarmed about because they are expecting a grocery delivery.
Of course.
And when she asks who it is, the guy says it's groceries. Then they force their way in. They're looking for money. They think these women are rich and well-to-do. They want money. But when they only have a few bucks between them, things get horribly violent. And this, Toyman, is where your mom would walk into the room if you were watching this.
Yeah, luckily that never happened. Luckily, Death Wish, like most of these movies, my first time experience was either my cousin had them on tape or we came across them on cable. So luckily my mom was nowhere near here. And this is still, to this day, a very uncomfortable scene. It's an infamous scene. It's infamous for the content of it. It's also infamous in a humorous way for Jeff Goldblum's, the goddamn rich cunt line, which was used ad nauseum by Opie and Anthony for years. But, it really is unsettling because remember, this is 1974. So while you might expect that things of a graphic nature happen these days because people are a little bit more liberal or things have kind of been more overexposed, back then, it's really unsettling. And I guess that's a good thing for where the story is going to take you. But if you're a first-time watcher, or if you think you're just watching your typical vigilante revenge film, this one really, it leaves a bad taste in your mouth.
Yeah, it's the worst part of any Death Wish movie. But I suppose they do it to justify what's going to come from Paul Kersey, because these people are horrible, horrible human beings who do things like this. So yeah, Carol is raped, Joanna is beaten, and
Hope Lane, it may be her shortest role ever.
I would think so. And they give her that one last kick on the way out. That's just, come on. So they run off. Back at the office, Paul's like, "Hey, get my wife on the phone, secretary." But before she could do that, a call comes in for him. It is Paul's son-in-law, Jack Toby, played by Stephen Keats. We just talked about horrible people and the horrible things that happen in these Death Wish movies. Somehow, Jack Toby is among the most horrible people in all of Death Wish, as far as I'm concerned. What say you, Toyman?
I was going to say, did you recognize Stephen Keats from anywhere?
I'm pretty sure he was on an A-Team episode.
He was also in Silent Rage with Chuck Norris.
Yes, he is. He is the doctor who won't stop. He's determined to make his Michael Myers, and he does, and he pays for it.
Was it normal for in-laws to casually say dad and mom so much?
It can be. My wife doesn't call my parents mom and dad, but I've got a couple of friends that they'll call their in-laws like, "Hey, dad," "Hey, mom." Like, it just becomes a thing. But usually
it's just the delivery, though. Like the way he's speaking in these conversations, like it's almost like on set he thought he was the son.
He's the worst.
And maybe I would love to be Charles Bronson's son. That would have been awesome.
Yeah, Matt Spector hates that Jack Toby calls Bronson dad. Hates it. He wouldn't piss on Stephen Keats if he was on fire.
Well, Dad. It's mom, Dad. It's dad and mom.
It's awful.
It's not how in-laws talk.
It's awful. Jack's like, "Please call me. Carol and Joanna have been rushed to the ER. That's all I know. I'll meet you there." So they get there. They speak to Officer Joe Charles, who's like, "Yep, your wives were beat up. They're alive."
Name Joe Charles.
They're alive. That's all I know. If you need anything else, I'm at this precinct. So Paul is very frustrated. There's not much information. He feels like he's been waiting forever, but it really is only a few minutes. The doctor shows up. He's like, "Oh, Mr. Toby, your wife is all right. We've just sedated her." "What about my wife?" "She dead."
Pretty much.
And Paul is shook, and we don't waste any time. We get right to the funeral. And what a cool shot this is with the snow coming down. Really iconic. Bronson's first funeral. We'll have plenty more to attend as the years go on.
These will become pretty common.
Sequels to go, folks.
Yeah. Plenty more. But after the funeral.
Do you think they just got lucky that it snowed that day?
I would assume probably so. And they just went with it. And it worked. It adds to the drama. It adds
absolutely does, yeah.
Adds to the death. Winter is very dead time.
Scare of it all.
Yeah, it's very somber. Everything feels kind of cold and the whole movie has that vibe, and this just helps sell it.
Yeah, that was a nice exclamation point on that scene. Right after the funeral, Paul goes to that police precinct where Joe Charles works, and he wants to get more information. Joe takes him to the detective working the case, and we find out that Carol has not looked at the mug books because her husband's like, she needs time. But the detective's like, the sooner she looks at it, the more likely she'll be to remember some of these faces. And then he's up front with Paul, and he's like, "There's only a chance that we'll catch these guys. There's no guarantee."
Yeah, unfortunately, a lot of indiscriminate random acts like this, or breaking and enterings and things like that, they hardly ever catch them, because what are you supposed to do? There's no like leads to follow. It's just random.
Right. Right. There was no premeditation here. It was
Right.
just-
Unless they catch them doing something else and then can kind of work their way backwards.
Right.
It's kind of hard.
And as far as realism goes, that's the most, because remember, we have not morphed into what Death Wish 3 the left turn that the series would take. So that's like the most realistic aspect about this. Instead of being your typical vigilante movie where you're seeking out the people who did it, now it's more of a testament to how much crime there is in general
Yeah.
that's overwhelming the city.
Yep. And we see some of that here because, well, first we find out that Carol is not recovered from this. She's definitely got some PTSD. She is not well mentally. But then we see Paul at home. He's watching TV. There's a commercial for a bank, and he's drinking some milk.
Nice cup of milk.
Hitting the hard stuff.
And he hears a hubbub outside and looks out, and sure enough, there's some guys doing some stuff they're not supposed to be doing. And the next day, Paul goes to the bank, I believe possibly the very bank he saw the commercial for, and he gets 2 rolls of quarters. And we'll see them come into play a little later. Back at work, Sam
is training for a career as a wrestling manager.
Thank you, Toyman.
You're welcome. Thank you for that dead pause.
You're welcome.
That complete non-reaction. Moving on.
You know what? I could put the crickets in there, like at the butt horns, if you want. So there's some sound there.
You can go ahead and put crickets in your butt as much as you want.
What are you saying? It's
I don't know.
disrespectful.
I'm on top of boys. You're putting crickets in your butt. I don't know.
I said butt horns. The golden butt horns.
Okay.
Episode 200 is off the rails.
Don't you recall during your golden butthorn speech the crickets?
I remember
do
crickets,
recall.
brain.
Thank you.
How can I forget the crickets?
This is the worst.
How can I forget that I'm a bald bastard with crickets? See, if I had a kung fu movie, that would be the title: Bald Bastard with Crickets.
There probably is one called that, and if so, I'm gonna count.
I was gonna say, brain's gonna be on the counting it.
I'll have to find that one.
Usually, if it's in the title, that's a really solid.
That's a good start, but it's not always a guarantee, as I've found out, you bastards. So yeah, we get Paul goes back to work. You know, Sam's like, "Oh, I knew you'd be back. You're not the type of guy just sit around. You got to pick up the pieces.
You're not the type of guy to give a shit about his wife dying."
Now, we don't know how long has passed, but anyway, the boss comes and says, "Hey, you know what? Remember that Tucson thing? I think I'm going to send you out there. You can breed out there."
You don't need to be here for your family. You got to go away.
But that's what he's like, "Well, let me make sure everything's squared away with Carol first, and I'll let you know." And all right, that works for me. So then he goes to visit Carol and Jack, he being Paul Kersey, and he's like, Carol's sleeping, and he says, "Oh, she's sleeping way too much." And Jack's like, "Well, the doctor says maybe a different environment might help. Maybe we'll go to the shore." "Oh, yeah, that'd be great. I'm coming." "No way, Dad. You're not coming, Dad. You remind her of Mom, Dad. It happened in your apartment, Dad. Dad. So then Curtis is like, "You know what? Fine, motherfucker. I'm going to go to Tucson anyway. They need me to do that for work. But you call me and keep me updated on what's going on."
He even gives him an every other day. I think that's
right.
more than fair enough. Just give me a call every other day.
Well, would you want to talk to this Jack Toby every day? I don't want to talk to him once. But yeah, so Paul's going to go to Tucson. But on his way home, Ryan Campbell, that sock full of quarters comes in handy.
Absolutely. He gets because anytime anyone goes outside in this movie, they get mugged. Someone inevitably tries to get some money off of them and gets a sock of quarters to the dome for his troubles. And then what I think is one of my favorite scenes, Brain, when he gets back.
Yeah.
And he's completely shooken by what he's just done. Like he was successful. He got the guy backed off and ran off and he got away. But just the act of doing this is like put Bronson into this, this contemplative, like, what have I done feeling? And I think this is where I text you, like, if he only knew the shit he's going to get up to in the next few years,
right?
Involving like teeth and soccer balls and all kinds of insane shit. And he's here stressing out over some quarters in a sock.
Oh, Let me tell you this right now, folks. We'll pencil this in for episode 250, Death Wish 5, in that soccer ball. But yeah, I mean, you could imagine it, because at one point he probably realized, wow, I just attacked another human being. But at the same time, he feels empowered, like
it's a rush.
Yeah, it's a rush.
He accomplished something.
Yeah.
He fended him off.
He wasn't just another victim. He wasn't just another person on the police report. He sent that guy running. So yeah, he's probably got a little bit of a power. It's just powerful. He's feeling good, but also feels like, oh my God, am I going down a dark path? Yes. Yes. So now we arrive in Tucson, and he's greeted by the one and only Ames Jainchill, one of the greatest names I've ever said on this podcast or ever heard, played by Stuart Margolin.
Where'd you recognize Stuart Margolin from, Brain?
He's probably most known for the Rockford Files, but he's in, isn't he in Iron Eagle 2?
He's General Stillmore in Iron Eagle 2. Very good.
Yes, thank you. I passed that test, everybody. I'm on fire. Ames takes Paul to see the land that he's looking to develop, and then
he loves that land, Brain.
He does. He loves those hills. He doesn't want to. He's not gonna. Doesn't want those hills. Those. He wants everything. Everything he builds conforms to the land.
I like it. That's good.
And you don't hear the toilets flushing next door. Then they visit old Tucson. And this always warms my heart, because not only does obviously Bronson has been here in old Tucson, but I can't help but think of the special 2-part episode of Primetime Wrestling where Gorilla Monsoon and Bobby the Brain Heenan go to old Tucson. So 2, and the Gorillas are up there too. 3 of my heroes all were on that same land at one point or another.
Amazing.
You're gonna have to make that trek one day, Brain. That'll be like a pilgrimage.
Maybe that's where my ashes should be spread.
Old Tucson.
Old Tucson. And they watch the Wild West show that goes on there. And obviously you see those wheels of Mr. Paul Kersey turning. He's really enjoying this way they used to have to deal with outlaws themselves. And then we go back to the Jainchill office. Paul's looking over the plans. He's like, yeah, no way my company's going to buy this. But let me take a stab at it and see if I can come up with a compromise that will make us all happy. And then Ryan Campbell, I don't know how many of these are in cinematic history. This may be the only one, a surveying montage.
And it's one thing I weirdly appreciate about all of these movies is how seriously they take the profession of being an architect. This isn't the only shot that we get of like them discussing real architect principles and like city planning and you know, they really go the effort to have the right tools and the right lingo and all that kind of stuff throughout the film. But yeah, we get a montage of surveying, and Bronson is the type of guy, no matter what's going on in his life, he's lost his wife, his daughter's in dire straits. He's contemplating, am I a sociopath? What's wrong with me? And that he can still get shit done and is one of the premier architects in the country, because not only does he get all them houses in there with enough space and enough backyard, but he actually even adds even more so his people will be on board.
Right, exactly.
Making everybody happy. He's the best.
And that makes sense too. I mean, obviously a lot of people just throw themselves into their work if there's some personal issues going on, and they just like, all right, well, this is something I can control. I can control work. I can do this. I have no control over this other shit. So I'm going to focus on this.
Goddamn, can I lay out some housing developments?
Yeah, exactly. He's the man behind that. So he's probably feeling good. Back at the office, Ames invites Paul to have dinner with him at a gun club. And here, Toyman, we get a little bit of the Paul Kersey backstory.
Yeah, we find out that Paul was a conscientious objector during the Korean War, but that doesn't mean that he doesn't know how to handle a firearm, and he impresses old Ames with some pretty how do I want to phrase
hits
this?
the bullseye right out.
Yeah, I was gonna
First
say
shot.
he's a good shot, and he talks. He's like, just because I was an objector doesn't mean I don't know my way around guns. I think he said that his dad had a bunch of guns. His dad was a hunter, but
Yep,
his mom, once his dad died, his mom made him swear off guns.
correct. Yeah, his dad died in a hunting accident, and I mean, a mom that's like mom's telling you, like, you'll poke your eye out, and it happens, and now that's like now mom is superpowered. Like, see, I fucking told you, don't mess with those guns. Your dad's dead now, you little bastard. So Paul didn't mess with guns anymore until Ames Jainchill gave him one. Now there was at one point Death Wish 5. There was a treatment where the Ames character would return with the Jill Ireland character from Death Wish 2, and they were going to try to stop Paul Kersey because they all figured it out, and like, Ames felt guilty about it. And like, oh man, I'm the one who helped him on this path. I gave him a gun. But obviously that did not happen. And instead,
It was like a little much.
we had an exploding soccer ball. So you win some, you lose some, folks. So when Paul's work is done, I've already given it away. Ames does give him a little going away gift and puts it in his bag because he's going to check that bag. He's not taking it on the airplane with him.
I don't even think you could check. I don't think that would fly even today, Brain, checking a gun into your luggage.
Today is today. This is
you better mail that shit.
This is 1974. You could do a lot. You could do a lot at the airport.
Yeah.
We used to just go to the airport and sit there and look at the planes come in.
You used to go to the gate all the way with your family. You'd go all the way to the gate to see them off or greet them.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. We would just go there was no family. We would just go look at planes and go to the little shops and get candy. No, you need to.
Maybe that's why Kenny K is so upset about the Browns and encroaching on his airport.
Possibly, or there's many other reasons. Perhaps Sam gave him some statistics on Facebook that he didn't care for. So yeah, when Paul gets home, he gets to the airport. Jack is there with news that they think Carol should be put into a mental hospital. And
the beach didn't work.
Yeah, the beach was not the solution they were hoping for. And then, of course, Paul's like, who are these doctors? Let's get better. They're good doctors, Dad. Dad, they're good doctors.
And they have a great talk about insurance.
Yeah, we get some insurance talk.
Now, I could be down for a Luigi-esque Death Wish movie where Paul Kersey goes after health insurance.
You want to charge what for the hospital?
Right. So then Paul goes home.
Your coverage has been denied.
Paul goes home. The vacation photos have been developed and dropped off. So obviously that's stirring up some feelings. And then he opens up that gift from Ames that I spoiled, that it was a gun, and it's a gun. And he's like, And he's going to put that gift, or he's going to see if he could put that gift to work.
Is it the one that he was using that had the notches in it from the person that
this is a brand new.
This is a different gun. Okay, I wasn't sure.
Ames was going to give one of his own personal collection out. He's like,
I don't know. He's seen an effect on Ames. He left his mark on him.
And
he thought he knew that city boy, and he kind of flipped the script on him.
Well, yeah, that's for sure. But yeah, Paul goes for a walk in the park, and you might say, well, that sounds nice. But he's going in the middle of the night. And as Ryan Campbell pointed out, anyone who leaves their house is just asking for it.
Inevitable, like almost on cue. Right on cue.
He's walking, and he notices like the guy on the path, the upper path, is like following him. He's like, okay, I'm going to go look at the water now. And that guy comes up, and he pulls a gun on him. But this time again, he don't just have a sock full of quarters. He's got a gun, and we get to see history in the making. Toyman, the first kill from Paul Kersey.
First kill, and this goes back to what we were saying about how he's not, we don't have named villains. I'm going to seek out this guy because he's on the
Right.
police report. Nope. Now he's just getting in the mix and he's finding just these random criminals. And, to the point that we made earlier about how he was kind of shook about his first encounter where he was beating the guy with quarters. We get the first kill, and that leads to Paul Kersey throwing up when he gets home
Oh,
because he's so rattled with the emotion of taking a human
he
life.
took a life. Yeah, that's a heavy price.
There's some great acting here from Bronson in that, like, he's kind of selling on his face, like he's concerned as he turns around, to shoot the guy. A little bit of call the cops, but not for me kind of meme, if you know that one.
Right.
But also, like, there's a genuine, like, am I about to do this?
Sure.
Like, it's not all selling. There is like I'm past the point of no return. Am I really going to be doing this? And then he does it. And like, as Toyman said, he goes home and is so racked with guilt and adrenaline coming down that he throws up in the bathroom.
Yeah. And then the next day, the cops find that dead mugger, and we meet another key character, Inspector Frank Ochoa, played by the one and only Vincent Gardenia. Toyman will now tell us some Vincent Gardenia news.
He played Joe Pesci's father in The Super, which is a very underrated comedy from the early 90s.
Yeah. That's one I never saw, and then you can't find it, or at least you couldn't when I was looking for it.
I saw the PJs. He plays like a super.
Yeah, he's super at that. Yeah, and he's good. I like Vincent Gardenia. He's very good. He's the only other actor to return for a Death Wish.
He plays that grizzled New York detective role really well.
Yeah, he's seen a lot of things.
He's also got his little vices. Like he's dealing with the worst cold known to man throughout the entire movie. He's got his little smoking and all those kinds of deals. So it's one of those deals where you see a lot of the tropes of a New York detective now. And then when you watch an older movie, it feels like it's kind of derivative, but a lot of that came from the early stuff.
And this killing is front page news. So, and we're going to see that more and more as vigilante mania is running wild in New York.
I enjoy the detective work that they show going on throughout the movie too. It's not that we're not just jumping from scene to scene. We see them talking about, okay, hey, he also had a gun and it was never fired. Oh, he had a thing on his hip. Oh, it's most likely two guys, both, pickpockets going after each other. Well, no, his wallet's still full, so it couldn't have been it. They're talking through it. You're seeing all the detective work that's going on. I really like that about the movie. It's kind of underrated when you think back on the film.
And we then see Paul at his office. We see him lock his gun up in the office. And then Sam and the boss show up, and they're looking at the Paul's revised Jainchill project. And everybody's excited and happy and wonderful. Paul, you're an amazing architect. You wonderful, magnificent bastard. But then that night, Paul, again, going on his way home, he has that gun. We established that he brought the gun to work with him, so he's going to have it on his way back. And he sees a poor guy getting assaulted by 3 goons. And here we go. Now he's really increased. We went from 1, and now he's going to take out 3, Toyman. His numbers are going up.
Yeah, he's got to step in and save the day. This is pro wrestling. The heels are outnumbering the babyface, and who's going to run down that aisle? It's Paul Kersey with his gat.
Oh, now I'm just thinking glass break and then Paul Kersey coming out.
Or maybe a gunshot instead of the glass break. You just hear the bullet, kind of like Ricochet's theme.
You don't even know
that bullet whiz by.
When the WWE films started, and then they made their own walk. Well, I don't think. Was WWE didn't make the Walking Tall. That was an MGM thing. But I'm okay, well, if they could remake Walking Tall, they could remake Death Wish. And I wanted so bad Stone Cold Steve Austin to be the new Paul Kersey. That would have blown my mind.
That would have been
you would have had the sympathetic aspect, though?
I don't care.
I don't. Death Wish 3, Paul Kersey.
At that time, they could have got away with it. They could do no wrong when it came to Austin.
I wanted him so bad to be Paul Kersey. Anyway, yeah, he gets these guys. Then the cops show up, and they talk. Hank, Frank's guy, Hank and Frank. It sounds like an NXT team, but it isn't. Hank is there asking the victim, like, did you get a look at it? Is he tall? Was he fat? Was he short? Was he black? Was he white? Oh, I didn't get a good look at him. And Ochoa's like, you're full of shit. And just laughs it off. And yeah, so now, again, Kersey's up to 4 now. And we see Paul and Jack coming back from visiting Carol. And old Jack is like, oh, if we were smart, we would just live out here and you and I could go into the city to work and Carol and Joanna would be home. Or probably say Carol and Mom, actually.
Yeah. Mom.
Son of a bitch. Anyway, and Paul's like, well, what happened to self-defense like in the old West? And what have we become as people? So you can see, again, it continues. Like, this is he's not full blown. He's dealing with this, Ryan Campbell. He's thinking about all this. And, maybe he's starting to say, like, hey, everybody else is just taking it. I'm not going to take it no more.
Yeah, he doesn't quite have the resolve yet. He's still kind of figuring out where he fits into all this. And I think as of right now, most of his killings have been reactionary.
Right.
But we'll see soon, Brain, that the switch flips when he starts going out looking for trouble.
Oh, yeah, exactly. But first we're going to see Ochoa addressing the troops. They're figuring it out. Like you said, they do a real good job with the police work here because they're like, okay, what's the motive? Revenge. Maybe this guy had family that was a victim of a violent crime. All right, so let's figure that out. Get all that information, and it's going to be a shit ton. Okay, he handles the gun well. Makes you believe he probably had some sort of combat training. So let's find any veterans.
Then he says, start with the most recent wars and then work your way all the way back to World War II.
Yep. And Olympia Dukakis says, oh my God.
Yeah.
And who said that? And he does a great speech there. And again, he's like, this way, when the press asks, we could say, yep, we've got clues. We just won't tell them we have thousands of clues. And now to what you were talking about, Ryan. Now Kersey is just looking for the trouble because he's on the subway. He's got his D'Agostino groceries with him. And he's just, what he's doing. You know exactly.
Oh, he's putting the bait out there now. Yeah, he's fishing now.
And 2 guys foolishly take that bait, and they end up dead. And now we've got the vigilante all over the news cycle, so much that the police commissioner has to hold a press conference, and a reporter wisely asks, like, hey, are the crime rates down since all this is happening? And he's like, I really don't know about these hypotheticals. Just bullshit. Talking out the side of his mouth. And watching this press conference, Paul and Sam and some of the other workers as they're hanging out, having a drink, having some dinner, and Sam is like, I bet the crime statistics are down, and they're not going to tell us. And he's like, why don't you take a walk tonight and find out? But of course, Sam's like, no, that's all right. I'll wait for the official report. Now, I hope everyone enjoyed my reenactment of that scene.
I felt like I did. I was there, Brain. I was at the party.
That we need a Death Wish one-man show, Brain.
The party is coming up later. That's just the dinner.
Gotcha. That's right.
We do find out that they got a receipt from the D'Agostino groceries. Paul did not take his groceries home with him. I hope he didn't buy anything perishable.
Yeah, he's still
thinking the same thing.
He's still new to this. He's making some mistakes, like, leaving behind potential evidence that narrows the search down to a very small area because of the grocery store.
Right. And now you got to think about it. Like, if you thought about it now, like if you get a receipt now, it's got the fucking address, the fucking phone number, the goddamn website,
barcode.
Right. It's got it all. So you're like, okay. But
probably like the last 4 of your credit card or something that you paid with is on there or something.
Back then it was just numbers and like ding, whatever. So but it shows like, well, some of these numbers have to tell us where the hell this came from. They have to have some sort of system where they can, for accounting purposes, you would need to know this receipt goes to this store, blah, 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 blah.
It's probably not a chain. At the most, maybe it's 2 or 3 locations. It ain't like it's a Walmart.
Yeah, it would have to
which
be,
Walmart would it be? And I don't know.
I would guess it would have to have a few locations, or else they would have absolutely known where it came from. So, so they're going to use that receipt, hopefully, to narrow down that list of 1,000 suspects. Now Jack comes over to Paul's for dinner. And
Paul's feeling good, Brain.
He's got the apartment painted. And Toyman, I have a question for you. Have you ever had liver and spaghetti?
I have never had liver and spaghetti. I was gonna.
Have you ever served it to any of your visiting guests that come on a Thursday night?
I have.
Followed by some pound cake.
I was going to say the "How do you like your liver" is probably as good of a quote as when "That's my car." Probably the 2 most memorable quotes in the Death Wish series. No, my only experience with liver is about 20 years ago. I was at a cookout. Girlfriend of my friend at the time. It was like her college graduation or something, and I thought it was just like steak or like marinated steak in the broiling pan. And I grabbed it and I started eating it. And I'm sitting there talking to people, and her mom comes over and asks how everybody's doing. Does anyone need anything? And she's like, "Oh wow, Krish! Like I didn't know that you like liver so much." And I looked at my plate and I waited till she walked away, and I got up and I threw it away, and I was just like disgusted for the rest of the day because I thought I was eating some type of steak, ground beef.
Was it good? Like, were you enjoying it up until that point?
Up until that point, I was like, okay, like this isn't bad. Like it didn't taste like anything that I had had. I'm like, all right, maybe it's seasoned differently or different recipe, whatever. Mm-hmm. And then she's like, oh, that's liver. And I'm like, all right. So Ryan I didn't get up and throw it away in front of her and insult her. I had some tact and waited for her to walk away. Yeah. But that was the last time I ever tasted liver.
If anyone knows anything about you, is you're very tactful. Ryan Campbell, how about you? Liver and spaghetti?
I've had some weird stuff with spaghetti growing up. My mom would always make corn or green beans with our spaghetti.
I know you had your corn in your spaghetti. Which
but
I don't understand corn and spaghetti. But go on.
But never liver. We never did liver.
The fact that I remained your friend after corn and spaghetti should tell you something, that you must be a good enough person. That I was like, all right,
that means a lot.
That wasn't a deal breaker. I've had liver and I've had spaghetti, but never the two shall meet. I don't know how that all happened, but yeah, Kenny K is a big liver fan. Liver and onions. You know who else was a big liver and onions fan? Fred G. Sanford. So there's that.
I'm not an onions fan either, so that's probably why I haven't had liver.
Yeah, I'm not a big onion fan either. So anyway, liver and spaghetti, folks. If anybody's had it, comment it on our YouTube channel.
It's actually the name of the new band that we're starting.
Ryan Campbell's been known to be in a band. I could see him being in a new band.
I saw that he posted like an old flyer or something on Facebook. Yeah. I caught that.
Yeah, I had a dream there night that we got the old band back together, and it's feeling nostalgic for my old bandmates that are now screwed across the country everywhere. So
it's the way it goes, unfortunately. So Paul gets back to his vigilante work after his wonderful. I bet that was just the best freaking meal of Jack Toby's life. Paul gets back to vigilante work. He's at a diner having a cup of coffee. Make sure that when he pays for it, he's flashing all the cash he has in his wallet.
Well, I think the other noticeable thing is just how in good spirits he is at this moment. He's got the radio blare, the record player blaring. He painted the walls like the brightest yellow you've ever seen in the apartment. He's got a little hitch in his step, but it's kind of one of those like false highs, He thinks he made the right choice and he thinks things are getting better, but inevitably they'll come crashing down.
Yeah. So he's probably happy that Jack Toby left. So then he goes and gets a cup of coffee.
Or he's like, what can I do to get Jack to leave as early as possible? I'll blare the radio, the record player as loud as possible.
And so he's there. There's a hooker there picking her nose, which is disgusting. And then again, he makes sure when he pays that he.
Some people would pay extra for that, Brain.
Oh, gee. He flashes some cash, and then he's like, okay, yep, they're going to take it. So these two guys follow him down to the nearest subway platform. They confront him. They're like, hey, you got a light? Sure. Got anything else? Uh-oh. And
your one-way ticket to hell.
Yeah, Paul shoots one of them. He goes down. The other guy comes in, stabs him, and he runs off. Kersey shoots him. Then he shoots the other guy to make sure he's dead. And the stabby guy, he's now made his way up the stairs, up to the street. Cops see him. Paul's like, I got to get the hell out of here. But he's now wounded. He makes it into the subway before the cops find him.
It's getting closer, Brain. It's getting closer.
That was a close call. And he gets back home. He has to tend to that wound because obviously he can't even go to the ER. So because they'll probably be asking too many damn questions, and there could be a police report would have to be made and all that. So
we get like some ripped Bronson action. Glenn Powell, eat your heart out, man.
Yeah, Bronson was in shape. Bronson, he was fit. And the mugger that he did shoot but did not kill at the time, he dies on the operating table. And when they pull the bullet, it's a 32, which is what all the vigilante murders have been. So, now Bronson, after repairing himself, doing some minor home surgery on himself, he's just sitting back watching some TV, reading the newspapers and other periodicals. Again, it's all about the vigilante. News interview time. There's an old lady being interviewed about her hat pin. Alma Lee Brown, played by the one and only Helen Martin of 227 fame, Toyman.
And also Good Times.
Indeed. So she's there.
She had a good time stabbing that mugger with her hat pin.
That's right. And then they talk to a construction foreman, played by Hank Garrett of Car 54, Where Are You fame. You like that reference, Toyman?
I do like that reference, but he was also in two of my favorite movies, two movies that I know you're also a fan of.
Oh, do tell. Tell me what I'm a fan of.
He had a small role in Maniac Cop 2.
Oh, yeah, I love that one.
And he played the mayor in one of the greatest 80s comedies, Johnny Dangerously.
I've told you before, I've never seen Johnny Dangerously. Wait, I need to.
I completely forgot that you've never seen Johnny. You need to watch Johnny Dangerously.
I need to count bastages.
I completely whiffed on that one. I swore that you had seen it, but now that you say that you haven't seen it.
That's classic Toyman. You live in your own little Rhode Island bubble, and you think the whole world is in there, but it isn't. Some of us are less fortunate, and we didn't see Johnny Dangerously. I saw Paul.
Have you ever seen Johnny Dangerously?
I've not. No.
He doesn't even know what that is.
Not a clue.
He doesn't. I've seen Paul E. Dangerously, but.
And you know that's how he got his name.
I do know that. I knew that then because I was aware of the movie. I just, for some reason, never saw it. So yeah, we get these interviews, and again, yeah, these construction workers saw a guy mugging some woman, and they roughed him up a bit, and then they're like, "Oh, but his nose was broke. Oh, guess he must have fell." Wah wah. The receipt idea, Ryan Campbell worked. Now
it did. Ochoa knows what he's doing.
We go from 1,000 suspects to 14.
That we can do with some legwork now.
Right now, we just got to make sure we got enough manpower. And now we go to the cocktail party thrown by Sam, and everyone's talking.
I got claustrophobic watching this scene, man. There is no space in this apartment where they're having this party.
That's New York, baby.
Tight confines.
That's New York. That's why Kersey goes straight to the outside.
I'll actually be visiting New York next month, Brian, with my daughter, and I was thinking about maybe trying to visit some Death Wish locations.
I want to go to the steps, the famous steps.
I want to go to the steps.
Yeah, that'd be good. Take a picture.
My daughter, she wants to go to some Hamilton locations, so maybe I'll sprinkle in a Death Wish one.
There you go. That'd be a wonderful wonderful trip. We'll get your schedule on when that's going to be. We might have to get a special guest to take your spot if you're going to be.
Should be fine. Memorial Day, and then we're coming back the Wednesday.
Okay,
so
okay. All right.
Monday to Wednesday. Just a little quick trip.
Just a quick one.
Yep. See the sights, see a musical.
Oh, wow. Well, you're like a jet setter. Anyway, everybody at this party is buzzing about the Vigilante, and Sam is so ha ha ha. He's having a great time because he's like Toyman, where everyone's just interested in what he's interested in. And
he's in his bubble.
Yeah, he's in his bubble, and he's invited people into the bubble with him. And they're all talking about Vigilante. Anyway, Ochoa and Hank are like, okay, let's check out this Paul Kersey guy. We could assume that they've maybe checked out some of the other people, crossed them off. Let's go to Kersey. What about him? Oh, he's good. He's got a great reputation. He was a conscientious objector, blah, blah, blah.
Architect of the year in
New York. He's great. All right, well, why don't you
Minch, you might say.
Why don't you follow him? And I'm going to take this locksmith, and I'm going to go up to that apartment and see what I can find.
I could have swore that Jack Wallace is the one that played the in-universe Ghost of Christmas Present in Scrooged. Because there's the scene where like they show and like where they cut in. I think he wakes up from one of the instances, and they show like the in-universe play. And he's like, "Oh, there's still one more, Ebenezer, the man that all men fear." And I could have swore that was Jack Wallace.
No way.
But it is not on his IMDb.
You're talking about the guy who tells them. What's that guy's name?
He's got that mustache and the scruff.
Yeah. No, what is that guy's name, Toyman? Pat McCormick. Isn't that him?
I believe so, yes.
I thought I had one last night when I was watching it. I was like, oh, that's the
I would have
Christmas
been fucking shocked if I never had made that connection prior to that. Because, I mean, that's two of the best things in my movie world. But yeah, so Ochoa gets up there, he finds like bloody gauze in the bathroom. And
I'd love to say that this was an early issue with Bronson that he would learn, but we've learned from back in Death Wish 4 that he's prone to leave some shit lying around the house that gets him in trouble.
Yeah. You know, you can't do everything. We also see that Ochoa made the cover of People magazine. So good for you, Frank. I don't recall People magazine ever having like New York detectives on it, but you know,
I was thinking about that too. I assume it had to be in relation to him working the case for the Vigilante, right? Surely
exactly.
He didn't.
But
like the man searching for. I mean, they can't put a picture of the Vigilante on there, so the next best thing is who's the man hunting him?
Right. So
I'd like to have read that article in Universe to kind of, you know, I'm sure they were asking some questions about how he feels about, you know, should he be hunting this guy down who's lowering crime and doing what the cops can't?
Get ready, everyone, for some Ryan Campbell fan fiction that will be family friendly for once.
How can we spin that into a YouTube series?
I don't know. I'm still working on the Golden Girls one.
Okay.
Ochoa is called in to see the DA and the police commissioner, and they're like, so you think this Kersey may be the guy? Well, yeah, he may be the guy. We don't want him. We don't need a martyr on our hands. You need to just get him to go away. All right. I'll try to scare him off. Scare him off. Anyway, so he's going to do that. So he calls. Now, this is where I think he may have fucked up. Personally. Follow me here. He calls Paul Kersey and he's like, you are under police surveillance, sir. So Paul's like, oh, shit, I'm under police surveillance. So he puts the gun away. He doesn't take the gun home. Where if he wouldn't have called him and told him that, wouldn't they have caught Kersey with the gun? Which is not allowed.
Leave it out in the open. Oh,
yeah, but
it's a paperweight.
He doesn't really want to catch him, though. Like, I read this as this first basic attempt at seeing if that will scare him off. Seeing if just knowing that the cops are on to him will be enough.
That's true. You're right. Ryan Campbell, thank you. I was like, why wouldn't they catch him? But they don't want him caught. That's right. Oh, God. All right, it's late. So
I'm just happy to bring something of value to
Thank you for bringing something to the table, Ryan Campbell. You and Frank Ochoa should be on People Magazine. All right. So he gets stopped on the way home. And they're like, "Oh, yeah, sorry, sir. Your description matched somebody we're looking for." "Oh, no problem." Of course, he's not going to make a stink because he doesn't realize that they don't want to arrest him. He's like, "Oh shit!"
But then he may also then feel like, man, they're getting really fucking close.
Right, exactly. which is what they're hoping for. So everybody's it's a game of human chess here. So Paul goes up, and then he's like looking out his window. He's like, "Oh, that car, that's an obvious police stakeout car. But you know what? We've got a back door to this facility. I'm going to do it." So he goes
ironically using the same entrance that caused all this.
You see some of the spray paint still on the walls there.
Yeah.
He gets down there. Fortunately, there's like a costume party coming out of the front door, which distracts Ochoa. And we see that a lot. There's like in Death Wish 2 where there's like party going. And Michael Winner must like that shit.
He's good. He's almost like Batman, how he can kind of slip into a crowd and get out of there.
So he's out there, and so he goes back. He's going to go get his gun because he's got to do his vigilante. He's getting hooked on this vigilante gimmick.
It's an addiction.
Yeah, he's got to go back and get that gun. It's not done. You got to kill them all, or what's the point, right? Like cockroaches. Anyway, Ochoa's like, "Hey, Hank, go call and make sure he's up there." We just went up there. Just call. Now, folks, youngsters listening, I'm sure there's so many of you. There weren't cell phones in 1974. You had to go to the payphone. And unfortunately, this could be part of the crime.
Do you think they even know what a payphone is?
No, they don't. There's a phone you had to put.
There used to be little boxes with phones in them just scattered around the city that anyone could just walk in and use.
And one would think, with all the crime that we know, that's probably why a lot of these phones are out of order because they've been vandalized and
people robbing the change.
Yep, trying to get into the chain. Yep, bastards. So Hank has a hell of a time getting to a working payphone, and then when he does call, he lets it ring twice. And then he runs back and says, "No, there's no answer. Of course, we could be in the shower." Yeah, of course, you only let it ring twice, Hank. He could be taking a shit. People didn't have cordless phones. He was like,
"I gotta walk across the apartment to get all these goddamn phones."
"Hey, this one's coming out. I ain't getting up until it's done." Okay? Because you don't know. It might go back in and you can't get it back out. You gotta just go
3 days of constipation because you didn't get the
right. Yeah, then you got to eat prunes or some shit. Anyway,
or liver, I don't know.
Possibly. This buys Kersey time, though, of course, because while this is all going, he's made it to the office, gone upstairs, got his gun, come back down. So when Hank gets there, he's like, "Yeah, there was no answer," and Ochoa races over there. Of course he's going to miss Paul Kersey. There's been all this time. So now Kersey goes to where Ryan Campbell's going to hope to go, those famous steps. He's back at the park. He's on the steps. Suddenly there's a mugger up at the top of the steps. There's 2 muggers at the bottom.
One of them are adapting. They're learning.
One of them, Toyman, was Freddie Boom Boom Washington himself.
Oh, not only is he a sitcom legend, but he became a legend for this very website. And maybe eventually we'll have to do some Lawrence Hilton Jacobs on the podcast because he's an early focal point of the PM entertainment world.
He most certainly is. And I know our friend John Cross over at the PM Entertainment Podcast has done some Lawrence Hilton Jacobs, so you can check that out. Kersey takes care of 2 of them. But one of them runs away, and that's when we find out, Ryan Campbell, there was a 4th mugger. And he gets Kersey in the leg.
Yep. It's, again, they're adapting brain. They know what's going on. They know there's someone out on the streets that's gunning these guys down, so they're trying to kind of
strengthen numbers.
Increase the numbers. Maybe they're even trying to goat the vigilante out a little bit.
They could brag that we're the ones who killed the vigilante.
Yeah, crime's back on the menu, boys, kind of thing.
Ochoa hears the reports of shots fired, so he's like, "Oh, I better get over there." Kersey now catches up with this guy, and he goes into Wild West mode. Fill your hand. And that guy's like, what the fuck are you talking about?
This guy's crazy. From like an elevated position.
Draw. And then Kersey at this point has been bleeding from the leg. And he probably, obviously, he did not have any kind of, he already lost some blood, the day before, the night. So, yeah, that's too much losing blood in a row. So he passes out. Ambulance takes Kersey away. Ochoa shows up, and he's like, there's a patrolman who wants to see you. Toyman, it's Patrolman Riley.
Yeah, which is another, we talked about Jeff Goldblum and then some of the smaller players like Vincent Gardenia, but Christopher Guest as a patrolman in Death Wish. Death Wish was, I don't want to say it spawned a lot of careers, but it really is like a who's who across the cast from the bottom to the top.
And I always believed, and so Patrolman Riley's like, I got his address. What? What else? And the gun. And he did not put it on his report. And Ochoa's like, don't put it on your report.
He was like, I like this kid. What's your name?
Right. Exactly. I always felt that Ed Lauder should have been a grown-up Patrolman Riley. Because he knew the game. He knew the game. He was already in, he knew. Sometimes there's the rules and then there's the rules. And he played that game. But we get that nice little guest spot, if you will, for Christopher Guest. And then next time we see Paul Kersey, he's in a hospital bed. He's getting a blood transfusion, which he desperately needed. And Ochoa shows up, takes the gun out of the handkerchief, points it at him, and is like, we would like you to leave New York City permanently.
Tonight.
And if you do, this gun goes in the river. And then Kersey again goes back to his Wild West. By sundown. Excellent. Excellent. So then Ochoa leaves. Of course, there's a media circus outside because there were reports that the vigilante was caught and brought in. And he's like, oh, no, false reports. Happens all the time. The vigilante's still out there. And next thing we see Bronson, or Paul Kersey, at Union Station in Chicago. This is where he transferred. And he sees some goons harassing a lady. And we get the famous finger gun, Ryan Campbell.
I'm looking at it right now, Brain. That's your stream, or what is this duck thing? What do we call this? StreamYard. That's your profile picture.
That's right. He does the famous gun. End credits. Oh, what a film. Ryan Campbell, your final thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, I've obviously not the first time seeing it, but I think just watching it so many times and or maybe watching like a lot of the other ones more, 2, 3, 4, multiple times before going back and watching the original. I know we've talked about it before, how they laid the groundwork for a lot of kind of more the examination of Kersey as a character and kind of where he goes, and they get away from that as the sequels kind of go for more, just one man versus evil, vigilante thing, and get away from some of the complicated emotions he has with it. But man, I would love to have seen that like alternate reality sequels where we dive more into that, because there's so much interesting stuff presented here. It's almost like American Psycho in a way where you have this guy who is they mentioned how he was a conscientious what do they call it, objector to the war, and he's more peaceful, and he kind of obviously cares about the little guy and cares about the community. But then there also is this thing in there that he does get kind of addicted to this, and the high of it, and and all that kind of stuff, and then also the duality is what I'm doing right is what I'm doing wrong, and all of that is here in this movie, and Bronson does a terrific job of playing all these different angles of showing the signs that the false signs that he's doing good, when he's not doing bad, the transition from scared and nervous to the high part. Like, he does so good at it. And I would have loved to have seen that, maybe dive in a little bit deeper in some of the other roles. Because while this doesn't have as much knockdown, drag out action as we're going to get in the sequels to come, the character work in this one is some of the best stuff. And I like I said, I love the detective scenes. I love the thoughtfulness and the writing of the movie. It's just a really, really great movie.
Well, and again, this one obviously was adapted from a novel, so that probably helps that situation with the character.
Was there only one novel?
The other novel he did was Death Sentence, which also became a movie, which was the Kevin Bacon movie.
Was Death Sentence which was Paul Kersey?
I believe it was. I believe it was meant to be a follow-up.
The book I'm saying.
Yeah, the book. Yeah.
I
believe it was. So, that obviously became a movie as well. But yeah, I mean, and we've talked about that before. This is this is a movie. This is a dramatic movie that has action in it, where later it just becomes full-on action. Toyman, your final thoughts.
We throw the word classic around a lot, but this is a bona fide classic, not even just for the fact that it spawned a franchise that we love and it gave us the great Death Wish 3 or anything like that. But really, this kind of started, within the film, we see the vigilante craze. This was really the impetus for a lot of other vigilante, take the law into your own hands type of thing. To Ryan's point with how it was kind of American Psycho-ish, when you look back on it, it's almost as if he's living this delusion that he's kind of becoming a cowboy with this martial law type stuff. Like, it's the ways of the Old West. And it's not cartoonish. It almost is like a form of, I don't know if you want to call it psychosis, but maybe it's
also
like
just cope. You said, his daughter is going through what she's going through still, and he lost his wife, and there's definitely a lot mentally going on there.
Yeah, and he doesn't get revenge on the people that actually commit the crime. Now he's taking that emotion, that anger, that frustration of the fact that this happened to his family, and he's taking it out on the entire criminal element. So it really does give you the vibe. It's a 70s film, so watching it in later years, maybe it doesn't feel as impactful, but it's almost like flipping the script of the streets aren't safe because of crime. Well, now the streets aren't safe because of this one guy eliminating all the criminals.
I think we talked about this maybe when we talked about 4, but I would love to have seen a scene in the series where something he does causes like an innocent person to die. Either he shoots the wrong person thinking that it was a mugger, or someone just gets caught in the crosshair, just to see like how he would have handled that from a character perspective. Would have been really cool, but I don't think none of them really ever kind of dabble in that territory.
Well, yeah, I mean, I guess the closest would be when we talked about 4, when he has that nightmare and he unmasked, and he's like, I'm becoming the killer that I'm, I'm becoming one of the people I would have been going after because I'm just killing all these motherfuckers. So, yeah, this one, and to what you were saying, Toyman, like if there were no sequels, this would still be a classic. This is just a great film. And again, I love the sequels with, again, as I have said many, many times, Death Wish 3 to me is just exactly what a movie should be, because it's just a complete escape from reality. And I love it. And I will be watching it here very shortly. But Death Wish, again, you couldn't have had that without this one. And this one is really good. This one made Charles Bronson a star in this country. He had to go overseas and do like spaghetti westerns and whatnot. He just wasn't getting the roles he wanted in this. But as often is the case in Hollywood, then this also kind of typecast him. And then everything he did he was almost always a variation of Paul Kersey in every movie that followed, with a few exceptions, obviously. But Death Wish, 1974. What a film. And what a perfect film for such a milestone episode as episode 200.
I'm wondering, Brain, how many is there? Let me talk about something for a minute. I'm curious what percentage of podcasts reach 200 episodes.
Oh, Ryan Campbell's going to be doing some research. You could do that. While you're doing that, I'll remind everybody about our social media. You can follow us on X at Bulletproof Pod. We're also on Blue Sky at Bulletproof Pod and at Bulletproof Action on Facebook and Instagram. Letterbox Bulletproof Pod, and my personal letterbox, Chris the Brain, all together. And Brian, have you found that yet? Have I
2.66% of all podcasts reach the milestone of 200 episodes.
Wow. Well, there you go.
Congratulations, everyone. Jeez. Who do you think's been most appearances? Do we have any of those statistics?
Oh, on this very program?
Yeah, I mean, obviously you're the leader. I'm saying
I have been in 200 episodes.
Right. You're on top of the leaderboard with 200 episodes.
That would be something we'd have to do some research on. See, again, I should have been doing that. I should have been reaching out to people. I should have been giving all these by the numbers, interesting facts that may not be interesting to anybody but us, but I would give them to people because whatever. And yeah, we can do that maybe for next time. Chad Cruz had a good run.
It's probably, yeah, because I think.
But you guys have been on, it's been a while. It's longer than I realized where it's like.
I mean, I think we're over 2 years now. I feel like when we looked.
It was.
One other time, it was around February, March when we really started going.
Yeah, it was.
Something. And now we're past March now. So it's probably been 2 years of kind of this crew.
Because I was like, I think somebody had on Facebook had conjured up my review of Roadhouse 2 Last Call. And I'm like, why did I share that 2 years ago? And it was because that's when the remake was coming out or had come out. And I'm like, I could not believe that was 2 years. I'm like, wasn't that just last year that me and Ryan covered those Roadhouse movies? But no, that was 2 years ago. So time stops for no one.
That's right.
YouTube. You can check us out there. As Ryan said, we did recently have a Chad Michael Collins interview. And hopefully at this point you've checked out Sniper No Nation. What a film. And when it comes out, when it's hits like Netflix, I'm sure we'll probably discuss it here on the podcast when we can get a little bit more spoiler heavy and where more people would have access.
There's a lot to talk about in that one.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, and at some point there may be the Golden Girls is the center of the action universe video. But
I love that, man. That's definitely one of, you think about like I don't enjoy them anymore, but let's think of something like CinemaSins. And all you gotta do is find one format and then apply that can be applied to literally every action movie ever.
Yeah.
And
we've got it. And I'm just giving it away. Somebody's gonna swoop in and steal my idea, you rat bastards. Anyway, so YouTube, follow it or subscribe, hit the bell, all that shit you're supposed to do it. Next week, or no, actually, as this has dropped, I will be on another podcast. So if you have not heard enough of my voice, check out the Direct to Video Connoisseur podcast, because I'm the special guest this week and we're talking Detention starring Dolph Lundgren. Toyman, do you have your caffeine shirt on?
I do not have my caffeine shirt on. I have a black hoodie on tonight. I'm sorry I didn't come prepared for your Detention plug.
Well, there you go. So Detention with the host, Mr. Matt Pereira, or Matt Peartree, as he might be known to some. Maybe. But you know what? Speaking of Matt, next week right here on the Bulletproof Podcast, Matt will be back with us. He was with us for Duty Palooza. He will be with us next week when we talk about one of my all-time favorite movies, Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade.
Oh, how does one get off this thing, brain? It's like the episodes of like Chicago PD, Chicago Fire, where they do crossovers. That's this podcast with the DTVC.
You know what? Week. Matt Spector recently mentioned that, like, we were talking about the Chicagos and how that, I'm like, yeah, if only we would have all thought about this, we could have done all, like, on our show, the DTVC and the PM podcast, done the 3 Ring of Fire movies. all in one row, like boom, 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 boom.
Oh,
Like,
that would have been fantastic.
one that if only we would have
Synergy,
known.
cross promotion synergy.
Just all one giant
Yeah.
fucking like 22 hours and three. It'd just be the greatest.
We could film commercials like NBC, like Must See TV or something.
Yeah.
When they would do those
Yeah,
commercials
yeah,
for the
yeah.
crossovers.
Yeah, we might have to. We could figure it. But I'm like, oh, that would have been perfect because that's the only thing there were 3 PMs of. Well, no, there's those chance movies that we talked about, Lawrence Hilton Jacobs. So I don't know, but yeah, it's a nice crossover. I'm
gonna steal that now, Brain. You just gotta shut up about this stuff. Quit
I need to
giving the game away.
I'm always brainstorming on the microphone. I should just shut my full mouth. And I'm going to in a few moments because it's time to pretty much wrap it up. Do we have anything else we want to talk about? Toyman, do you know what
I was
you're
just
doing?
going to say well, I didn't mean to cut you off there. I was going to say to follow up on your YouTube mentions, obviously talking about the podcast. If anyone hears this podcast and you're on YouTube and you're like, you know what, I need to go back and watch Death Wish again. Don't watch the version on YouTube because even though it's from YouTube Premium and it's free or free with ads, if you have the regular one, it is the edited for television version.
Son of a bitch. You know what? I just watched Adventures in Babysitting for the first time in many years, and I watched it on Disney Plus. Don't fool with the babysitter.
Yep.
Fuck you, Disney Plus. I should have just got my DVD, but it's all right. I still enjoyed the film.
I hate when the version that's on streaming, like on Tubi or whatever, is a TV version.
Yeah,
Hate that.
I'm glad I watched my Blu-ray of. Couldn't watch my 4K, but that's another story for another time. That should be corrected here soon. But yeah, I did watch the Death Wish Blu-ray, Steelbook Blu-ray, as a matter of fact. Not that that's any.
I have the
that's
I
any
have the
fucking
Blu-ray
different.
collection.
Yeah,
That's how I watched it. The nice Kino Lorber
Kino
5-pack
Lorber,
of
yeah,
Blu-rays.
very nice. Yeah.
Excellent. But to answer your question, I am not sure what my follow-up to the recent reviews will be. I will have to figure that out. So TBD. But in the meantime, please go and check out, well, first of all, check out Sniper No Nation, and then go check out the No Surrender Cinema about Sniper No Nation. And if you haven't seen it, or if you're on the fence, it is very minimal spoilers. Nothing major is spoiled in there. So don't feel like if you read the review, you're going to hear about something major and then it'll blow the movie for you. That is not the case. Same thing for The Boys. Episodes 1 and 2 for season 5, the last season, are out now on Amazon. So you can check out the episodes and then check out the review. Or if you want to feel for where the episodes are going to take you, again, minimal info on any major developments so that you can go in with a fresh set of eyes.
Well, I guess that would be one of your May posts would be the recap of this final season of The Boys.
That's true. And Daredevil Born Again as well, because we're already halfway through that season.
See, Toyman's already booked again. He's a very busy man. Ryan Campbell's wrapping up his shows, but he'll have that movie that he's not excited about next month. We'll be talking about Mortal Kombat next month. I could tell you that right now. So,
kicking off the blockbuster season, they got that usual Marvel slot, that first date in May.
Did you see the popcorn buckets that I sent you, Ryan Campbell?
I did not. No, did you text me that, or was it like an Instagram?
I think I just forwarded from Instagram.
Okay, I'm bad about. I don't log in. I log in like once a week, and then I have to catch up on all the stuff.
Well, check those out. You'll be excited about them.
Nice.
And so there you go.
We got Mandalorian and Grogu coming up. Wow, what does that say?
That's what I was talking about.
Yeah,
the movie that you don't really want to watch.
I really hope that when I'm sitting, which is insane because I love the first 2 seasons. I like the 3rd season, but I don't know what it is. Hopefully when I sit down and watch it, maybe it's just like I'm numb to like trailers and shit. I don't know. Maybe. I really hope it wows me when I'm in theaters. So we'll see.
Well, we shall see. We shall see. But yeah, we still got a lot of April to go. So thank you, everyone.
Thank you for 200 episodes. I mean, it's absolutely insane that we just come on here with friends. And we mention often that these are conversations that we would have anyway through 300 text messages. So it's fun to, have a time once a week that we all get on here and just kind of chat it up and watch movies that we love. And maybe a few people listen to it. Maybe they don't, but 200 episodes. I don't think we get there without some people giving a shit what we talk about. So we certainly appreciate it.
Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that because our Firewalker episode did real well on YouTube. So
it did. Yeah, it's actually we first one to hit over the we haven't had one since a while. The Nowhere to Run was the last one, though.
Yeah.
Not that many numbers. So thank you.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's sad that it was the Chuck Norris tribute episode. It's a good movie. It's a good movie to talk about, but there's kind of a little bit of a dark cloud hanging over it. But hey, you know what? People want to reminisce and people want to remember Chuck Norris, and I think that we brought that to him. So we should give ourselves a pat on the back for finding some joy in a sad situation.
As if though Toyman needs an excuse to give himself a pat on the back. He is constantly giving. He's like the Barry Horowitz.
I was gonna say I've got the Barry Horowitz jacket on right now.
He is the Barry Horowitz of this podcast, and of just life in general. Toyman will always give himself good affirmation. Well, many of us will just shit on ourselves.
Positive motivation, brain. Positive motivation.
All right. Well, I'm motivated to wrap this one up. So thank you again, everybody. Yes, 200 episodes. We would not have been able to do it without you. Thank you for listening to this one. And as always, stay tuned for more of the Bulletproof Podcast.